my creative friends, and welcome back to Zen and Creativity YouTube channel, your daily source of artistic inspiration during the Inktober Tangles 2023. I'm Yehudit Steinberg, your Certified Zentangle Teacher, and it's an absolute delight to be here with you once again. If you're enjoying our videos, please consider liking, subscribing, and ringing that bell of notification so you never miss a moment of creative exploration. We're dedicated to making the Zentangle method accessible to everyone, whether you're a beginner or an experienced tangler. No question is too small, so feel free to ask us in the comments. And better yet, don't forget to join our lively Sunday virtual art lab. It's a perfect place to connect with like-minded artists from around the world and get your questions answered. You can get all that information in the description of this video. And for your convenience, I have now added chapters in the video descriptions so you can easily jump to the step out or follow the pattern drawing step by step. Check the video description for quick navigation. I want to take this opportunity to thank all the new subscribers, likes, and comments on this channel during Inktober Challenge. Also want to thank all the tanglers who signed up for the Sunday Art Lab and those who are showing up every Sunday. We delve into different ways to create the pattern combined with other recent Inktober Tangles 2023. But before we dive into today's tangle, let's take a moment to revisit the beautiful patterns we've explored in the past few days. On day 22, we learned the tangle Sindeo, a design inspired by a wood-carved chair at the Singapore Asian Civilizations Museum. We also had a blast on Zoom drawing this pattern together. It's both a vine and a blossom tangle. On day 23, we learned Ruse, named after the artist's father, Roosevelt. This intermediate tangle was a challenge, but we simplified it so that it could be understood. One commenter said it took them 4 times to get this pattern. It was only after watching our video did he get it right. We have heard this from many of the viewers and students who joined our Sunday Art Lab. On day 24, the tangle Flutch was a lot of fun to learn, a little tricky, but with our simplified step-by-step method, learning drawing behind, known as holly-buying in Zentanglese, it turned out to be a beautiful success. All the links to previous videos for the tangles during Inktober Tangle 2023 is in the description of this video. It's always a pleasure to learn and create together. Now, let's get started with introducing today's tangle, Onamato, one of the original Zentangle Inc. deconstructed patterns. This is one of my favorite tangles, especially for borders and frames. Onamato is a lovely, simple tangle pattern that reminds me of pearls. It's one of the first 102 Zentangle original tangles designed by Maria Thomas. Onamato can be used for focus, borders, fills, and has potential for lots of variation. I love the look of this pattern and you use it frequently in my designs. The depth with shading can make this pattern stand out as a feature within your design. Follow me along step by step as we construct this new pattern. We'll learn how to draw it step by step together. Here is the step out and the 2-inch bijou tile that I'm going to draw this pattern on today. First, we'll take a look at our supplies, as we do every day, especially if this is the first time joining us. And I have a little change up in my supplies today. Well, first of all, I use for my graphite sketching pencil, I use this mechanical pencil. And today I'm going to use an 0.2 micron instead of an 0.1. I find that the 0.2 is a little bit sturdier than the very fine 0.1. So if you happen to be a little heavy-handed like I am, the 0.2 works really great. And also the PN works very nice. It's a plastic nib, and I'll be using that for some of the inking today. I have a graphite pencil here for my shading, and I have a blending stump for blending the graphite, and I have my gold gel pen. As I do every video before we get started learning a new pattern, I show you the step out. This is the step out for Onamato, and I give you time to take a screenshot. So now is the time for you to take your screenshot as I tell you a little bit more about this really cool pattern. I think that Onamato has some very cool potential to look like jewelry. Its tiny orbs gives the pattern a good-looking textural effect. This pattern works well with adding depth to the areas. It can easily be drawn smaller as it recedes. It's very similar to the pattern Perk that has oval-shaped orbs rather than rounded ones. If you leave off the bands on the edges, you've got the pattern Pearls. But those tiny black circles look like jewels too. I guess it's all in the shading. There are several ways to shade this pattern with different effects. Think smiley face mouth for shading the pearls and giving a dark pearl a little highlight on top. Now, for your convenience, I've added chapters in the video description so you can easily jump to the step out or follow the pattern drawing step by step. Check the video description for quick navigation. Okay, so now it's time to begin our drawing of the pattern Tangle Onamato. And I started with 4 dots in the corner, and then we attach them and create a border. This was devised by Marie and Thomas because when they started their Zentangle method, designing the method, because one of the most difficult things to do with a is to start, especially if you're a beginner and you're looking at a blank page. That's also why they have the small sizes of these patterns that we use. Now, Onamato, what I'm going to do, and as I've done in a few others, I like to lay out, I'm going to call it a string. So it's going to be curvy like this in the step out. So I'm going to create a curve that goes across the tile. Almost looks like a river stream here. And I like the way it is. And so when that happens, then I come and I take my pen. I'm going to be using an 0.2 here instead of the 0.1. The line's a little bit thicker. This is a brand new one. It flows really nice. I turn my tile, keep my hand in the same place. And the next thing I'm going to do is step 2, and we're going to do a parallel line, and we call it an aura in Zentanglese. By the way, when you do sign up for the Zoom art lab, you get a beginner's guide, an Inktober beginner's guide, and I did include a couple of pages on the terminology that we use in Zentangle methods, so that you can get brought up to speed, just in case you're brand new to this whole art form. Now, on step 3, we're going to move right along to step 3, and we draw orbs. I'm going to do my best to make them more circular than oval. We'll see how that works. We've got one. Now I'm going to come up against it and create another circle. Slow. Now, when I run out of space here, I remember in a couple of the other tangles I showed you, we lift it up. And if I were to do it in the air, maybe it would come down like that. I'm going to turn this tile, and I'm going to make my circle orbs on the other side. If you're brand new to this, I will tell you in the beginning, I needed to practice my circles, orbs. So that's where a sketch pad is really great. And if you do this on a daily basis, you will build up muscle memory, and it will be easier for you to draw them. So it gets easier as you practice. So now we have step 3 done, and we're going to move on to step 4. In step 4, we're going to come into this space that we created, the border on the outside of the Onamato, and we're going to create little orbs. And this is where the focus of this tangle, depending upon what kind of space, how large the space you have that you're going to be filling, gives us the opportunity for what we call Zen flow. Well, Zen flow is basically you're drawing a repetitive pattern, simple line, one after the other. You don't have to think about it. When you stop thinking, it slows the brain down. So if you happen to be an overthinker, or you have a brain that seems to keep going and going, doing this type of work can help to give you a few moments rest during your day. And it can be done instead of a silent meditation set, or it can be done in addition. So now we've drawn the pattern, almost drawn the pattern Onamato. We have step 5. If you look at your step out that you took the screenshot of, in these spaces here, I'm going to draw myself a pearl. Now that we've drawn our pearls, we're going to ink them in. And I'm going to pick up my PN plastic nib pen, and I'm going to go into these circles, orbs. I'm going to start on the outside. And I'm going to go down, but I'm going to leave a little highlight in the middle. If it blackens in, you can come back with white gel. I may come back with gold gel. But I'm filling these pearls. If they're large enough, I'm going to leave a highlight in the center. Turn my tile so that my hand stays in the same position. All right. Oh, there's one glaring at me that I didn't get. I'm not sure that I grabbed the right PN. Thought I grabbed a new one. This one. It might not be it, but there we go. So now I'm going to shade. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in on the bottoms of these orbs, and I'm going to give it a little bit of circular motion, lightly. I'm going to turn my tile. Same thing on the other side. This is on the inside of the circles, the orbs. A little bit of a light rounding. And then when I come in with the blending stump, I'm going to move that graphite so that we don't see a line, we don't see the circles. I'm going to give a little bit of shading in between those black pearls. All right, now the blending stump. We're going to give it, we're going to move it up a little bit, but we're going to leave that center highlighted. Very light on the top, trying to get so I don't see like a ridge. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick that I learned very early in my art training, because I used to do a lot of pen and ink work, and then I would come back in, I would shade it with charcoal, and then I would come in with an eraser, a kneaded eraser, and I would sculpt it out. And so I still do that. You can see this is you probably see it upside down. It's a mono zero eraser. I love it. It can get into small places, but it also will take, and I can sculpt that shading with it. The other thing I can do is I can give this a little bit of a C. little rounding. And just a little bit. The other thing is in between on one edge. So shading is something that, well, takes practice. It also is layered in. I layered in and see what if I hold it out and then I see if it's doing what I want it to do. So, once I'm off camera, I may take another 15-20 minutes on that to get the shading where I like it. I'm gonna add a little bit of glitz here because I like it with the black. Turn my tile. Highlight the pearls. And now we have Onamato. So that concludes the demonstration on tangling Onamato. If you are enjoying our tutorials and haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It really helps us reach more creative folks like yourself. And don't forget about our Sunday virtual art lab. This Sunday we are drawing the tangle for day 29 together. You can ask your questions and get them answered, even if this is the first time you're joining Inktober. It doesn't matter. There is no behind. Bring your supplies to the virtual meeting. It's a vibrant community where we learn, share, and grow together. Check the descriptions for all the details. Here is a picture of the mandala template that I have included in the beginner's guide, and I am working on completing it. It will be almost complete by Sunday. This is where it is at the moment. As I said, there is no behind. There's only more creativity ahead. And don't forget, I've added chapters in the video description so you can easily jump to the step out or follow the pattern drawing step by step. Check the video description for quick navigation. As we look ahead, mark your calendars for our upcoming beginner series in November. Starting in November, our Sunday Art Lab on Zoom starts its Beginners Sunday. Easy pattern demonstrations. You can draw. Registration opens very shortly. It's the perfect opportunity to deepen your Zentangle practice. All of you that are registered for the Inktober Art Lab, you will receive a link in your email in the next couple of days. Stay tuned for that. Plus, those of you who'd like to show a little bit of extra support and buy us a virtual cup of coffee, visit our Ko-fi.com tip jar. Your support keeps this creative space going. Well, that's it for today's tangling exploration. Remember, there's no behind, just a world of creativity ahead. Stay inspired, and we'll see you on day 26, learning Milia Crown. It's fun to learn a new floral style tangle. Happy tangling!